What's happening, YouTubers? As you saw from the title of my video, I am going to showcase my first, quote-unquote custom I've ever worked on from DC Multiverse line. But before I do that, what you see in front of you aren't really customs, they're just head swaps, like kind of kitbashing, and stuff that I think work in my opinion. But before I proceed with that, I just want to give a little recognition and shout out to some homies in the community. Homies like Bones the Necro Zoo, Josh from Before, New York Backyard Legend, and Toy Gains as well, because they do a lot of custom work, or have done custom work that I've kind of been inspired to want to do my own. In the last edition of the DC Multiverse Society we did, Bones mentioned about how like you'll have more fun if you truly get to like customize your figures or change it up, do something that you enjoy, that you want to add to it, and I couldn't agree more, and I'll showcase that in a little bit. But before I do that, I kind of want to showcase some of these head swaps I've done, just to get your input, see if y'all think it looks good or if it works, because I think it does. But what I do recommend, if you've never tried like head swapping from a DC Multiverse figure before, is getting like a blow dryer or a heat gun to kind of warm it up, because sometimes it requires a little bit more force than like a Marvel Legend to pop the head off. But this one, I think I saw Bones do this head swap, but basically it's the red Tim Drake head sculpt. I think the one that was like an Amazon exclusive. And I like this head sculpt better than the one with the green mask because, it left a lot to be desired. I sold that figure a while ago. The only thing I regret now is I wish I would have swapped the trunks out as well to match the mask. So he has the black trunks, but I don't know. I think this works. Let me know what y'all think. And the next one I want to showcase is this Flashpoint Wonder Woman, the gold label edition. Basically, I took the head from the Todd McFarlane inspired Wonder Woman and put it on this body, and I think it works really well. I've also got one, I don't have it around, it's in one of my totes, but it's the Endless Winter Wonder Woman head sculpt, and I've put it on here as well. That worked because I was basically army building these figures, but I think the cool thing about this is the golds match with her attire and like the sword, so I think this worked out pretty well. Same goes for the silver, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, and this one I want to showcase it's the Justice Lord Superman head sculpt from that 2-pack with Batman Beyond. I put it on this Injustice 2 Superman. That Injustice 2 Superman head sculpt's okay. I just don't like the, I guess, realism to it because it's based off a video game, but I definitely like this body mold. Like this figure looks great. It's just I wasn't a fan of the head sculpt, and I think this works for it. You know, it looked kind of sinister. It does match, especially with the eyes, but I'm just curious to know what you all think. It's kind of like a comic version of the Injustice Superman, if you will, but I think this looks way better than the head sculpt that came with it in terms of like the overall aesthetic. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you all think. And this last head swap I want to showcase is the latest Nightfall Batman in the black and gray variant attire, and the head sculpt is from the Sinestro Corp Batman, like the gold label edition, I believe. Yeah, that was exclusive here at Target in the States. But I went with this head sculpt because I like the longer cowl. I think that goes more in unison with the overall style design for the Nightfall Batman. And the cool thing is, I think it lines up pretty well. Like, it matches that aesthetic. The only thing is it might be a little too small on this body mold, but I think it looks fine. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think I'm going to keep it this way. I do like the longer cowl. I just wish now I would have picked up two, because I do like the Sinestro Corp Batman, and now he doesn't have a head on there because it's on this figure. Damn. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, so here are my, I guess, customs. I don't know if that's the right word for this. My kind of like kit bashing or pop and swap or head swap and whatever. And I'll give like the recipes for what I use to make these figures. Or it's not much, honestly, compared to other people out there. But so this is kind of like my first attempt at it. But first thing I want to showcase is this classic Superman. So right off the bat, I use the Rebirth head sculpt. Now the skin tones don't match. I'm not going to try painting it because, again, I'm just diving in and doing my first custom or kit bashing, so one step at a time. But I have the Rebirth head sculpt on there, and I switched the hands out because I saw Bones did a review of this. He put the Shazam movie fists on there, which work, but recommendation, heat up the hands or the fist first because the peg holes are smaller than the actual pegs themselves. But once you heat it up, it loosens it and it will fit in there, because truthfully those stock hands that he comes with are way too big. They're abnormally huge, but I think it works out in my opinion. And then the last thing I did on here was, of course, the classic trunks, because the original one that came with it was based off of the Bermejo, I think, sorry, I don't want to mispronounce, Bermejo attire, and the trunks, I swapped them out from this battle damaged soups that came with Doomsday. So I put on the classic trunks on there, and I think it works. The only issue that I ran into is that like it doesn't really line up on the trunks that well, so like one side's going to be off. Maybe it's something I did wrong, or maybe some of the comments below that's used to customizing or swapping can let me know what I might have did wrong, that it's not really lined up right there. But yeah, so that is my recipe for this classic Superman. And the next one is this classic Batman. So once that new Batman came from the JLA wave, I instantly thought, you know what, let me try swapping out the trunks, because for a while the Three Jokers Batman was my classic Batman for the DC Multiverse line, because, you know, we hadn't gotten, you know, this Nightfall one or other ones, and since then we had like all these Dark Knight's metals or death metal versions, so this was as close as we got to a classic. And I wasn't really a fan of the gray trunks, so once I saw this, I was like, bet I can swap it out. And basically I put the trunks from the JLA wave on here, and the head sculpt I used is, you can tell it's from the Hush Batman, which is unfortunate because I like that Hush Batman, like overall looks nice, but I think it looks better on here, and this is kind of like my definitive Batman now. So I think this works. But I'm curious to know what you all think about, you know, my little experiment here that I tried with the swaps. What I will say though is I didn't realize how easy it is to basically kit bash and swap and customize these figures if you have like a heat gun or a blow dryer, because they're very modular in a sense that if you heat it up, it's easy to remove and port back in, thus making it easy to swap out parts, trunks, head sculpts. Admittedly though, the head sculpt on this, the way they engineer this though, it is tough as hell to get this head sculpt off the body because it's all one piece, the neck and the head, but it worked out in my opinion. So there you have it, YouTubers, my first attempt at a, I guess you can say custom or kit bash, whatever you want to call these things. Let me know in the comments below any customizers out there. I'm always open to the criticisms and listening to the feedback to know how I can improve or do better. But, you know, I will say this, since the last DC Multiverse Society podcast we did, when Bones mentioned, and Michael as well, you know, try your hand at, you know, trying something on the figure, like adding your own touch to it. And you know, I took that advice to heart, and I was like, you know what, let me try, you know, head swapping or customizing it, you know, adding my own touch. And I think it definitely ups the fun factor when collecting these figures. And I, be honest with you, once I found out how easy it is to pop the legs off to swap out the trunks, I was like, bet, let's go and do it with Superman then. And it definitely, like I said, definitely increases that fun factor because you're adding your own touch to it, your own customization to it, which I do enjoy. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, YouTubers. Sound off below, and like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.